What's up, everyone? This is Jay, and I'm back hosting another edition of Inside the Lab. As usual, I'm joined here by Justin Fan and Peter Jennings, aka CSU Ram 88, and we're going to break down tonight's 9-game NBA slate. Pete is on his way. He'll be in here in a minute. But Justin, how's NBA been the last few nights? I did want to ask you if you know of any birthday narratives tonight, like Pascal the other night. I'll never forgive myself. I do see though we have a lot of revenge tonight. I don't know if you've checked that out, but we got Marcus Morris, Jabari Parker briefly, Tyus Jones, and Corey Joseph. So how excited are you for some narratives tonight?
All over narrative shoot again. I think we should treat every day as Eric Pascal's birthday now. the greatest warrior of all time, just building the statue already. So excited for this slate. It's a lot, I think, a lot more challenging than the last slate, which is super chalky. And we basically just had one decision with Clark or Pascal. I hope you chose wisely. Hope you didn't trust Taylor Jenkins and his BS rotations. Imagine load management or monitoring minutes for guys who are like 20 years old. It's unreal. So I think the biggest news we're still waiting on right now is Jeff Teague. I think that'll really impact and move the slate quite a bit. So I hope we get something on Teague before lock, because that'll be big.
Yeah, hopefully we get something in about an hour when Coach speaks. That'd be pretty big because that game's an hour after lock. So anything we can get would definitely be nice to change the slate. Pete, welcome to the show. Busy day for you probably. Congrats to all of us Coloradans on legalized sports betting. How you doing?
I'm good, man. That was a freaking absolute crazy sweat. One of the top sweats I've ever had, to be honest. I mean, I was up at like 1 a.m, woke up in the middle of the night, just I was texting back and forth with Alec Garnett and a bunch of guys who are in the sports betting and DFS industry. And yeah, we barely passed legalized sports betting in here in Colorado. And stoked that it's actually it's official, it's passed. So that's great news. I think it would have passed easily given how liberal Colorado is in general, but we were fighting some pretty brutal verbiage that is required by the Colorado Constitution. So
how is that legal, Pete? I don't understand. Reading it just seems grossly one-sided.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's in the context, shall state taxes be increased by $29 million annually is how it starts.
Yeah.
So everyone just assumes that it's going to be an increase in their own taxes, and it's not at all. It's going to be the casinos paying a percentage of revenue, 10% of the revenue to the state. But the verbiage is brutal. And Alec Garnett, who sponsored the bill, and then we'll dive into the NBA, he did respond, and that's what I've been texting with. He said, the Colorado Constitution requires language to be written that way. Welcome to Colorado politics. Right now, this was 17 hours ago. It's up by 80 votes. And this was around there's like 1 million some votes. It's up literally by 80. Just hang tight tonight and enjoy the hashtag sweat. So Alec gets it. He plays a bunch of DFS. And sorry to spend so much time in the intro of the show, but it's big news. And hopefully we'll see more and more states.
It's only appropriate that we had a little sweat with this bill.
It makes too much sense.
Only appropriate.
Dude, it was a fucking crazy sweat.
Yeah, some of my friends were hitting me up when that bill came out because I told everybody vote DD, and they're like, I don't even know what it means. They're ex-friends now, of course, but half our state didn't understand what it even was.
That's really what happened, I think.
Bunch of amateurs, because it should have passed in a landslide. But then we had Alamosa was 60% against. We had some counties that
the social conservatives were really against it, but
disaster. But we're good though. We're good.
Hopefully we'll have more states come through, and definitely a changing of the times is just great. And for the NBA, I'm excited, man. I think player props and different things will be available. I could see in-game betting becoming a really big thing in basketball down the road too. And a lot of what we do here at Fantasy Labs hopefully will be valuable to the people as we have more and more options. And speaking of that, it's a good DFS slate. So
yeah, we got a tougher slate for sure than we've been accustomed to the last few days. Last night was
not the 5-minute
build. Yeah, not the 5-minute build. Last night was the nuts. It's just a lot harder. We have Cat and Embiid back, obviously after 2-game suspensions, and then some other guys returning too. And then we have all the Warriors guys bumped up in pricing. So it's definitely a tougher slate, but I kind of like these slates because if it's tough on, not to say we're the best or anything, but like if it's tough on us, it's tough on everyone. So it's kind of like no one's going to have it really easy tonight, where we're not going to see like 5 guys over 75% ownership in cash. So it's pretty nice, but we'll get into some plays. We'll start as usual, going in through some teams dealing with injuries. We've talked about Detroit a lot, but I think tonight, a little different circumstance just with pricings, but we have Derrick Rose and Tim Frazier out once again. Our guy, Bruce Brown, saw a bit of a price spike. Luke Kennard, another price spike. So Justin, I'm curious your thoughts on kind of how to handle these Detroit guys who saw price increases tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as strong chalk as they were in previous slates, but I think they're still really, really nice. I think Bruce Brown, Lou Williams, Harden are the short list of shooting guards I'm looking at on FanDuel. I think you can maybe dip into like the Jordan Pooles or the Damian Lees and GPPs, but that's kind of my short list as of now. And, Kennard is right up there with like Harkless, Robinson, maybe Culver and Okogie if T gets ruled out on small forward. So, I like Bruce Brown more out of the two, just because we've seen the minutes floor with him, the usage is above 20% both games. He's, doing, both of them have a really solid role as the ball handler and pick and rolls. They're initiating a lot of the offense. So I think their floors are very, very nice. And the matchup with the Knicks is another good one for them. And they just played the Wizards, I believe. So yeah, another good spot for both those guys. I don't mind going back to the well, even with the price increases.
Yeah, I generally agree with you, especially for Brown. Pete, I'm curious your thoughts. We finally have a slate where we have Cat and Andre Drummond on the same slate. We've pretty much played them at center nearly every single slate this season. They usually have been on separate slates for whatever reason, but tonight we have to make the choice between the two. Drummond's just been absolute monster, so consistent. Where are you kind of leaning on that front tonight?
Yeah, good question. And we have so many stars. It's a lot tougher tonight figuring out where you want to go with roster construction, because both Cat and Drummond are going to rate out really, really well because they're going to have huge projections, as they should. Both these matchups are really good. Memphis, much different team now. They're playing way up in pace. And, I think Cat can dominate any of those guys. And then Drummond against this New York team, I mean, it's a dream matchup for him too. Drummond's price has really come up on FanDuel, which is, is not a slam dunk like he was relative to the other slates where he was, in like the low 10s. Now he's 11-4. So a lot harder to get up to him, especially since you have Harden, Westbrook, Giannis, as well as some other like mid-tier guys like Lou Williams who you want to play. So it's a tricky slate. I probably would take Cat with the savings on FanDuel. On DraftKings, their prices are really close there too. I remember, what are they? DraftKings, you have them at...
I think Cat's 800 cheaper, so Cat's even better
Okay, yeah, that's right. Cat's a much better play on DK with 800 savings, because I think they should be projected for a very similar amount of points. And Cat, even so much more so in DraftKings, gets a bonus versus Drummond because of the 3-pointers. So,
for sure, yeah, both good plays, but lean Cat on DK.
If we're going to talk about them, how do you guys rank them? I think the better question is like, how are you prioritizing those guys as versus Giannis, Harden, Westbrook?
I'm probably prioritizing one of those two and fading the Rockets side personally as of now. But yeah, there's a lot, there's a lot going on. But that's where I'm at now.
I'll say this too on Cat. His projection there is assuming for now that Teague plays. So I think if Teague is out, his projection gets bumped even more. So I think if Teague is ruled out, I like him over Cat, or I like him over Drummond probably on both sides. Even on FanDuel. So I agree with Jay Sean though. I think I'm prioritizing Giannis. Even without Kawhi, it projects to be a relatively close game. And if Giannis can get anywhere near like 34, 35, 36 minutes, his per minute rates are so dominant that he's going to he has a very good shot at 60 plus. So I like Giannis probably the most. And then, probably one of Drummond or Cat, and then prioritize like Harden and Russ and those guys a little bit below. What do you think, Pete?
Well, I guess Harden now has come up in price as well. He's 11.5, so it's harder to get him up 500 from 11K. The guy who's standing out to me out of the other studs is Westbrook at 10.3. This should be a dream matchup, but there is a really big spread here, which I'm curious your opinion on that too, Justin, because obviously this Golden State Warriors team is horrific, but this Rockets team has not been great. And if Harden doesn't shoot well, there's some concerns. I guess Eric Gordon being out doesn't hurt too much given how poorly he's shot. But yeah, Westbrook at 10.3 is a guy who's standing out to me quite a bit. So you do have some other good point guard options. I think Kai Bowman on the other side is a great play again, even at 6,100 on FanDuel. And you'll probably need some of these punts like Landry Shamet, who I've played this year and is disappointed, 3,700, Aaron Holiday, 3,500. And we'll see what happens with Teague too. Like if Teague's out, then, you have a free square. So I don't know. I guess that's the one piece of news that's going to really dictate roster construction.
Yeah, going back to what you said, Pete, on the Warriors game, I if I was to bet, I'd bet the Warriors plus 15.5. I think that spread's a little bit too big for my liking. This Rockets defense is just horrendous, and I think we saw the Warriors be able to score even with this, Santa Cruz lineup against the Blazers the other night. I think they were able to put up, 110, 115 without too much issue against this Rockets defense. So, yeah, I don't mind. I don't think the spread is as bad as it looks for Russ and Harden. And Harden, even in these like blowout situations, and Russ too. Like D'Antoni likes to keep his stars in pretty late, like in a lot of these situations when they're up like 18, 20, midway through the fourth quarter. He'll leave those guys in. So I'm not too worried about the minutes of guys like Harden and Russ, and even with this spread.
Yeah. And along those lines too, if we're going to stay in the FanDuel discussion, I think a lot of it's just going to come down to where you like the value. So at center, there's not as many good plays to me. I guess Valanciunas in the mid tier is fine. Montrezl Harrell fits that mix. And if you want to punt, you're looking at like Zubac and like Dwight Powell types. Or you could get really thin with like a Damian Jones or something crazy, which I wouldn't do. So the opportunity cost at center, going away from those is much higher, given there's not like great options. Where point guard, you have some really good options. Shooting guard, you have some really nice options. So it's probably easier to fade the Rockets guys.
Yep, I'm pretty much not really sacrificing at center with the two guys up top. So those are locked in. Let's talk about
just some minor news here real quick. Danuel House starting for Eric Gordon. Not a surprise. I like Danuel House quite a bit as a tournament play. He should play 34, 36. He should play quite a bit in this spot. And then the same starting lineup out there for the Hawks with Trae Young at point guard. There's little concern that he would maybe sits in the second leg back-to-back with the ankle injury, but he's starting. I'm assuming he's on that same like 32 minute restriction today.
So he'll only get 50 DK points.
Yeah. Exactly.
And carry on to a win again. The Indy guys, let's talk about them a little bit. That was the team last night who just smashed for us. Anybody who had exposure to them did really well. Brogdon, Goga. Tonight, where Miles Turner's out. Jeremy Lamb is out after playing big minutes last night. Sabonis is back, though we don't have an official starting lineup yet. Still waiting on that. Justin, I'm curious your thoughts. This game went into overtime last night. All these Indy guys were great plays for us. What are you doing with them tonight off of overtime, back-to-back? Are you worried at all about like Brogdon's minutes, TJ Warren, and then how do you kind of see this front court developing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely concerning. I think it's probably a stay away for me on the whole. I still have some interest in Brogdon in tournaments just because Jeremy Lamb's out. That's a big piece of their offense. They're replacing him with a lower usage guy in Justin Holiday. And Brogdon's just like a freaking machine. Like I think he's a lock for 33 to 35 minutes again today. I don't see his minutes really being affected today. So yeah, I'm not really on this team with Domas back. I don't know even how healthy Domas is. So maybe like a GPP sprinkle, but not really a serious play for me. Don't really like any of these guys in cash, I'll say.
Yeah, Pete, what are your thoughts on the Pacers? Last night was just set up so perfectly. They still have a really high team total. This is a good matchup for them.
It's a great matchup.
Yeah, I like a lot of these guys, but yeah, it's just a little tougher. Sabonis definitely throws a wrench into it. But I think Brogdon is probably still the guy we like the most, I would say. And then I guess we'll kind of wait and see what their starting lineup is. That might help us a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Warren ran as hot as he possibly could last night.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're looking
Like,
at the box
he's basically like Hayward from the night before.
Yeah, well, they both.
Or yeah, that was that. Yeah. Shooting wise, they both just couldn't miss.
I mean, it was ridiculous. At one point, yeah, I mean, he had 30 points on 15 shots, ended up shooting 18 shots, 15 of 18 for Warren.
So it's pretty absurd. Yeah.
He's going to play a lot. The overtime, I mean, he didn't really fill up the box score as well as you'd hope, given all the injuries. Only 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. The 2 steals and block is nice regardless on FanDuel, but he played, basically 41 minutes. So 4 rebounds, 3 assists. A little disappointing, and now Sabonis is back. So yeah, to me, the best play is Brogdon. Although Justin Holiday, I guess, is worth looking at a little bit if you need a total punt. He's not a high usage player like Justin mentioned. You're going to have to run hot with a couple made threes or some steals and blocks, but he should be out there quite a bit. So if you want to watch a guy just in the corner.
The thing with Justin Holiday is it's kind of like, so I think I'd rather have Mo Harkless for 200 less, because I think he maybe starts on Giannis today and gets like those minutes. And I think I like Okogie for 100 more too, because I think he'll play 27 minutes and has the upside of Teague misses too. So
I agree with that. I think Holiday's a really thin play.
Yeah.
He's just not going to do much. Like he'll be lucky to get like 8 shots up tonight. So you just really need to run hot. And I like, I mean, the thing about small forward on FanDuel, I love Glenn Robinson, love Kennard, want Giannis, love Daniel House. I'm a little higher than you guys even on Daniel House, it seems. And I know you're high on him, but guy is a baller. Like he is great on the catch and shoot, and he's been quietly filling up steals and blocks in a big way. And this game could have just a ton of pace. So I like Daniel House quite a bit. I definitely want to get to that mid-tier range if I can. It's just tough with roster construction.
I think it depends on, Teague again is huge.
Teague is huge.
Starting lineups are pretty big, but in general, I think you want to pair Giannis with someone 5K or below. So House probably the second highest, who I'm looking at in cash at least.
You like House over Glenn Robinson?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get into that a little. We're talking about the Warriors.
So the projections are where they are, and you see that GR3 has a higher projection, but I honestly don't mind House at all.
Higher range too.
Yeah, I think GR3 has downside. Like we saw his last game, he played quite a bit, and we saw his floor too. I think House just has a higher floor than GR3 does. He does more. So yeah, I wouldn't mind Daniel House over GR3 at all if you have the extra 200.
For sure. Yeah, Justin Holiday too. I mean, there was a stretch last year where the guy would play 40 minutes and get like 6 points. I'd take Justin Fan DK points per minute over Justin Holiday.
Yeah,
if you had a shot, like it's just dead weight. But we'll see who they start. Let's talk a little bit more about the Warriors. D'Angelo Russell, of course, out again. Draymond Green still out for at least 3 more games. We saw these guys get priced up, rightfully so. Bowman, Pascal. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on those two specifically. We kind of briefly mentioned GR3, what to do with him, but are you guys still fine paying up for these guys because they're going to play minutes no matter what against a terrible defense, or do you think they're kind of priced out?
I like Bowman the most. We got
Bowman better than Pascal.
Yeah, I mean Pascal, we're past the birthday narrative, although Pascal's clearly going to be
man.
Yeah. And talk about hedge life just paying huge dividends that night. I rolled Clark,
massive.
But then I rolled Pascal and like 3-mans and everything else, and everyone had the same team, and it was just Clark versus Pascal. I was
perfect.
So it was just perfect. And Pascal, I mean, not trying to gloat there, just was like we all projected them for a similar amount of points, and I think a lot of people moved to Clark given his upside in steals and blocks, and it was tilting as hell to watch him not play as many minutes.
20 minutes. He played 30 minutes as a starter, then as a reserve. The Taylor Jenkins is just so tilting.
It's bad.
I think we have to be very wary of that in general, though, with this team for this season. Like,
you can't play. You can't play him. Yeah, you can't
play Jaw. He's playing like 20 minutes a game. It's unbelievable.
So tilting because he's getting better and better too. I love it.
Yeah, he could have some big games if they
I think Brandon Clark was like a +7 in his 20 minutes, and he was playing, I don't know, like some other guys like Marco Guderic or whatever. It was like awful, and they were like, that's why they lost. Like I don't know what I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, it's not like we expected Clark to play 32 minutes. It was just not 20. He played less than he had all season basically. So it was frustrating for him not to get like an extra quarter rotation.
I really like both Golden State guys. The thing is, you got the minutes no matter what. Like these guys, not no matter what. The blowout, we'll see. But like if the game's even somewhat competitive, like they need Pascal out there because he's going to shoot. Like they really, really need his shooting. I will say he ran really hot last game, 4-6 from 3, made all his free throws, shot 58% on the game. He's not gonna have shooting.
I disagree. I think he's a 60% career shooter, 67% from.
Did you get the most important thing of that game with that wasn't really revealed until after was that Draymond released was that he had beef with PJ Washington from the draft. And neither did we. So after the game, Draymond was like talking about, he's like, Pascal was like amped up for this game. He had it on his calendar from massive beef with PJ Washington. So you watch all these ISOs he had one-on-ones with PJ Washington. He straight up just bullied him, took him to the rim every time.
He was cooking.
Yeah. Fadeaways on him, talking big game. Like, yeah, he had a lot to prove specifically against PJ Washington. Draymond talked about it after the game. I was like, that's just one more narrative. But yeah, he was on fire, but he definitely wanted that bad against PJ Washington.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Because if you look through his game so far, he's not really killing it on steals and blocks. In fact, he's pretty below average given how many minutes he's playing. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. They're going to pick and pop, and like they need him to score, and he should do well in rebounds. He had 13 that game. The game before in 35 minutes, he only had 4. So that's a little concerning.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why. Yeah.
The problem with Pascal, this is what he did in Nova too. He wasn't a steals and blocks guy. He averaged 0.7 steals and 0.5 blocks per game in 36 minutes in college. So that's a great point, Pete. Like if the shot isn't falling, if he isn't,
that's my concern.
And he's not cheap anymore. He's like a real play, and he's not going to bully PJ Tucker like he did the other PJ. So
PJ Tucker is like a perfect matchup for him. PJ Tucker, I mean, does a lot of the same things. He's looking for that 3, and like we'll see. I mean, we don't have that much tape on Pascal yet. We'll see how he evolves, but it does seem like a guy like PJ Tucker matches up really well versus him.
So Bowman, the other guy we like a lot, where are you kind of ranking him? Like, do you have him in your initial builds? He's a guy I'm definitely looking at. We'll talk about these Clippers guys next too, but point guard's a little tricky, especially if we're going Giannis and Cat or Drummond, then you're kind of going to have to go a little cheaper at this point guard out when you're pairing it with like Lou Will and guys like that.
Yeah, the minutes score is so high for Kai Bowman.
It's nice, man. Yeah, it's really nice.
I think Kai Bowman is like uber safe. Like he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. They're going to need him to do stuff.
Look at those supporting stats.
Yeah,
he's been nice. Yeah,
he's gonna play a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's even remotely competitive, like his downside's like 28 minutes. It feels like if they
even higher than that, Pete.
If they get blown out.
I think if they get blown out by like 30, he's playing 32 minutes.
That's even better. It's great. I was gonna say he seems like a guy who's gonna average, like his expectations probably 37, 38 minutes tonight.
Yeah, because the problem with the Warriors right now, if you look at, they have like 9 available players, and a lot of them are front court players, like Marquise Chris, Amari Spellman, Willie Cauley-Stein, Pascal. Like a lot of them are bigs, so they don't have a lot of backcourt depth at all. Like it's a lot of Jordan Poole, it's Damian Lee,
and Kai Bowman. That's basically it.
I mean, Kai Bowman's like their only point guard. So that's why his minutes score is so high.
I guess it's Alec Burks. Did he play any last game?
He played like 28. I like him as a tournament play.
Yeah, he's the other guy that can do stuff for them. Obviously, when D'Angelo Russell comes back, that'll change things. But I forgot. I went to bed after Pascal was rating in the first half, and then watched some highlights of the second half.
What's a bed?
What, dude?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
Everyone had the same lineup. There was like very little sweat. I mean, the other lineup, like Pascal passed.
I know, you're right.
Yeah, there just wasn't much of a sweat. So I tired and
fair enough. Yeah, man. Someone asked on FanDuel, do we prefer Cat or Drummond? We did talk about that a little bit in the beginning. That's going to be one of the tougher decisions tonight to make. I think on DK we prefer Cat because he's cheaper. On FanDuel, Yeah, where are you guys at? I guess I haven't really chosen for sure.
Close. I think it
I'm
depends on your
leaning Cat. I think I'm leaning Cat in this one just because he's cheaper. But and yeah, like Ryan said, especially if Teague is out. So
One
hopefully we
more
get
thing
something on
that I
that.
wanted to mention too was that we got news that no minutes
Yeah.
restriction for Trey Young, which is obviously good for him. And
Jenkins could learn a thing or two from that.
honestly,
with the
too,
Grizzlies guys.
if anybody's bet sports, I kind of like the Hawks +1 now.
Yeah, Trey's insane, man.
Trey's
So
It's ridiculous. Let's talk about some of these Clippers guys. I think there's quite a few of them on this slate we got to kind of look at here. Kawhi Leonard, obviously resting, front end of a back-to-back. So opens up quite a bit. Justin mentioned earlier in the show that we're kind of anticipating Harkless to draw the start. Last time it was Lou Williams who started with Kawhi out. With them playing Giannis, I think it makes more sense to start on him. Lou Will's still going to be of course, huge part of the offense. We like him a lot, but it makes us like Harkless a little bit more. We have guys like Beverly, Pete. You mentioned Shamet too. I've played Shamet a few times.
Gosh, he's
been bad. Yeah, it's been ugly.
I actually like him a lot as a player, but
preseason it was like Shamet's gonna get the ball in his hands more. He's gonna bring the ball up, facilitate something out, but like it's not happening, and it just hasn't been good. So he's cheap once again. I don't know, Justin. What are your thoughts on kind of the minutes here? JaMychal Green, the other guy, along with Shamet, Beverly, who we're looking at as like fringe cash game players.
Yeah, I think all those guys are in the mix. I think they'll kind of go back and forth between Harkless, JaMychal, and maybe even like Beverly in terms of guarding Giannis today. I like JaMychal and Harkless the most as the value plays on the Clippers today. And more than Shamet, who I just don't think will do much, even if he plays 35 minutes. I don't know. I don't really trust him. He's averaging 0.47 Fanal points per minute. I don't think that goes up like drastically without Kawhi either. So Lou Williams is going to have to play a ton in this one too. So his minutes might get up to like 35. That's what Jovan Buha of The Athletic was kind of speculating that he might play up to 35. So like him in his offensive role quite a bit. So yeah, those are the three I'm kind of focusing on. And Montrez, I think too is interesting really as a tournament play. There's a lot of speculation that Lou will start in this one, which means the usage for Montrez in the second unit will be through the roof too. So I think he's interesting as well.
Yeah, Pete, what are your thoughts on the Clips? Definitely like multiple guys here we're looking at. I know we've talked about a lot of the value at small forward, even shooting guard, but power forward I think is another spot where we kind of want to save tonight. And at the top of the models is JaMychal Green at just 4K on FanDuel. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I like JaMychal Green quite a bit. I think he has upside, and they should utilize him a lot, and they'll need his usage to be higher. Obviously, when Lou Williams is out there, offense is gonna flow through him, and when Harrell's out there, that'll be a lot of the pick and roll. But I really like his upside, and he's only 4K, and he should play, more minutes, obviously with Kawhi out. So I think he's a really strong play. I think obviously Lou Williams is the strongest, overall play on the Clippers. Harkless makes me nervous. Harkless is a guy who, when you watch him play, he's either really he's a very hit or miss type effort player. And I know Portland was really upset with him in general about that. And he had potential to really get I thought he had potential to be a really good starting player. And now he's just kind of a reserve who has a lot of physical gifts, but his effort to me is just kind of up and down. And you hear that a lot from other coaches and just people who talk about his game. So they need him tonight. They need him versus Giannis, and maybe he comes out fired up and shooting well, and he has a big game. But there's definitely downside risk to him. Beverly's the other guy. Not sure what to do with Patrick Beverly, to be honest. I think he's a fine play, but he's not my favorite. I don't know where you guys stand on him. I think Lou Williams is priority 1, JaMychal Green priority 2, and then Shamet priority 3 for me.
I think I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd rather not go Beverly, but I would for sure go Beverly over Shamet, even if it costs you somewhere else, which probably will because he's more expensive. But I really want to avoid Shamet, I think, tonight's slate. I think we have enough value at other positions where you don't need to force it. But JaMychal, I guess, is the safest after Lou. So Lou, JaMychal, Beverly, Shamet. And then, I mean, I like Montrez a lot. I just don't know if I'll really consider him in cash. But like tournament play is probably my favorite.
I think I might even like Harkless over Shamet, honestly. I'm not a Shamet guy at all.
I like Harkless over him too. Yeah, agreed. But it's not pretty. It's not great. We got so used to like 4K Bowman and 3,900 Bruce Brown starting no other point guards. Now we're like getting these same price guys, but just way lower floors. So it's a little bit of a rougher slate. And then to add to it, we have guys at multiple positions, studs like Harden. You have the two centers, and then you have Giannis too. We're getting questions again, kind of circling back on a few questions on the Rockets. Any love in cash, and then what to do if you're cashing Harden or Giannis or Harden. And Justin, you talked about the spread, how you're not too afraid of the 15 points. Just how the Warriors looked last game, disaster performance by Portland. That was just pathetic, losing that game. But I don't know. Like you said too, with Gordon out, now that Gordon's been doing anything, if it is a blowout, it's going to be because of Russ and Harden. Their floors are still really high. Pete, you said Russ is very priced favorably on FanDuel. Where are you guys kind of at with them realistically tonight's slate for cash? Who do you like the most?
I like Westbrook the most.
I
think he's
I agree.
Really nice price. Obviously sat. I think he'll be ready to rock and roll. And yeah, I think Westbrook, he's going to fill up a lot of the box scores. And this is a perfect matchup for him. Like, there's not any defender that you're worried about on the Warriors. They're going to be playing up and down. And like, they don't really have like great rim protection or anything that could slow Russ down. And yeah, he should be very fresh. And the discount is really nice versus Harden, who is also an awesome play. I mean, Harden's a good play basically any night, but yeah, I think the price difference now, 1,200 between the two, makes me lean towards Westbrook, who should just have a really nice path to success tonight, given the matchup.
Agree for sure. I like Russ a lot, but the problem is then like
Russ is 9,400 guys on DK. Russ is 9,400.
Do you fade Giannis?
That is a very good price for Russ on DK.
It's just a great, and 10-3 on FanDuel is a great price too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess the thing is like you got to fade Giannis then, or go down at center. But the cheaper center positions, I'm not really interested in.
Yeah, well, Giannis is at least priced appropriately.
Yeah, agree. So I guess you could go Russ and Drummond.
And there's small forward value too. I mean, I have a problem with the Kogi, well, we'll see the news, but yeah, Glenn Robinson and House, I think, are both strong plays regardless. Glenn Robinson's obviously a little more marginal because we saw his downside, but he should be out there a lot if this game stays competitive. So,
would you play both those guys? What were you saying, Pete? Or would you play Kennard plus one of those guys?
Oh, I love Kennard too. That's the other guy.
Just two of the cheaper small forwards.
Yeah, and if we get a Kogi, then that's
Culver. I mean, there's a
lot of Culver too. I mean, Culver. If Teague is out, Culver's their only like point guard. I mean, they recalled like two guys from the G League this morning that have like very little experience, like Jalen Noel and Jordan McLaughlin. So like I imagine Culver, if Teague is out, should play 28 minutes, maybe 30.
Yeah. We have a lot of outs here. Hopefully in 20 minutes we get a Teague update. Someone asked about power forward on FanDuel too. We've talked about JaMychal, who like we don't love, but I think he's adequate for sure at 4K with Kawhi out. But outside of that, it's kind of a trickier position. I think one guy who's kind of standing out too and project plus minus pretty high is Covington. I like quite a bit. We talked about Pascal earlier. Wish that he had more secondary stats. We're not fully relying on him having a good shooting game. Now that's not his birthday and he's not playing his enemy, PJ Washington, but we have those two guys to look at. Any other guys you're kind of considering at power forward?
Yeah, I like the Covington call quite a bit. I think he's a really strong play. If you want to get interesting for tournaments, I think Julius Randle is a really nice upside play. Obviously, he's a little more expensive. And
He's been so like
He's been bad.
he's been bad. I get it.
I've been on him a few times.
Me
Same
too.
thing. Like I think he'll crush as tourney play. Some people were cashing him. Was it last night? Did they play last 2 nights ago?
Yeah, I don't.
I like a lot of good guys
this is-
cash him.
So I mean, for me watching the Knicks, I think teams have just really figured out how to play Julius Randle. I mean, they're kind of forcing him into spots to make him uncomfortable. They're making him shoot threes or become a passer. Like they understand that he wants to, bully his way into the paint and score around there. So I think teams are just defending him better. He's having to become a passer, which explains all these turnovers that he's piling up. And yeah, I don't know. I've been just underwhelmed just watching him play so far. They tried like the pairing with Portis. That was a total disaster. I don't think he's had much chemistry so far with Mitchell Robinson either. So I don't know. I've just been pretty underwhelmed. But if you just look at his recent performance, it might mean that obviously people are off of him just because he hasn't been performing well. So I agree, it might be a good kind of buy low opportunity here for Randle.
He's still putting up decent stats. That's the thing. He's getting a ton of boards. He's had 10 or more rebounds his last 5 games. And yeah, I mean, his last 5 games, he's averaging 15, 11, and 5, and that's with shooting really badly. But I agree with your analysis, Justin, that teams have figured him out. And like this Knicks team just doesn't really have the right pieces that gel well together. They have all these power forwards and just kind of odd fits. So that's the downside. But man, I don't really respect any of the defenders on the Pistons. And I mean, I just like Andre Drummond is going to have to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. So it's just, I could see Randle having a big game here. And I just like the usage for him overall.
For sure.
Play
And
like 5 minutes.
And the ownership will be low. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Let's highlight 2 more guys I want to get at power forward. First is Jabari with the revenge. I never want to
the brief revenge.
They're just the revenge. And obviously without Collins, I don't want to shortchange him. His price went up. So not a great per dollar play, but a decent tournament play. And then another guy is Porzingis. I think is kind of interesting at 8,500. No one's going to be on him.
Yep. Yeah, this is a position where a lot of people are going to save. So some of these expensive guys, I like taking shots with. Definitely Porzingis with the upside. Not the best overall game environment, but still has the upside, especially on FanDuel, just with the blocks.
The game is rough. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched Magic Thunder last night. Magic offense.
I forgot they even played.
Oh my God, those are brutal teams.
Yeah, Ryan.
The guy's a baller.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
He is really.
He's good. Someone in the chat asked earlier about Valanciunas, if we like him. I mean, he's definitely popping in the model. So yeah, we like him. But again, we've talked about this Memphis team. Someone asked specifically if we could see his minutes increasing with the matchup versus Cat. I think it's been proven that no one on this Memphis team is going to see too many minutes. That said, we've seen Valanciunas have massive games before in limited minutes. So yeah, I think it's fair to say we definitely like him. He's third in the models ratings wise. So what are your thoughts on Val? You think he's a sneaky tourney play? I mean, of course, a lot of people would be on Drummond or Cat, maybe some Montrez too. So Val should be pretty far under the radar.
He's popped for 2 weeks straight. I mean, he's always up there.
He's nice.
He's cheaper. He's 1.27 fantasy points per minute. I mean, yeah, it's just the minutes restriction is all you're really worried about. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
What's the current minute restriction in that same 26, 27 range?
Yeah, a little lower. I think 25, 26 range probably for him.
Yeah. I want to get to Towns the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Towns looks so good to start, and this is just a dream. Memphis is moving the ball up and down. Morant's driving to the rack kind of recklessly sometimes, but man, he looks.
I agree. I think you definitely want to pay up. I think the toughest thing will be what to do with the Giannis versus Russ. A lot depends, of course, on Teague, and then a couple starting lineups I think will kind of shape this a little more. But as of now, it's pretty wide open. There's a lot of plays you can consider, a lot of different areas you can go. So definitely one of the tougher slates while we wait on news than we've seen, especially in the last week. It's been pretty chalky the last week. So I think
I want to highlight too. We can't show right now, but if eventually you look at point guard again. Trey's popping now. He's bumped his projection up to like 49 too. So I think he has a 4th highest plus minus now. So I think he's a very, very nice tournament play as well.
Yeah, Trey Young is an awesome tournament play tonight.
For sure.
Guy's just good. I mean, obviously everyone saw the highlight of him putting LaMarcus Aldridge on skates, but he just can get wherever he wants on the court with his quickness and his elusiveness, and with his shooting ability and his passing. I mean, he's just going to have monster nights over and over and over again. Obviously, there's going to be some bad, efficiency nights, but his floor is high and his ceiling is just gargantuan.
For sure. Yeah, we're working on the site. For those of you in chat asking,
we just got a message from the devs just now that the team's working on it.
Yeah, we're all extremely frustrated too. So
honestly, like there's not anything that the 3 of us or like we have no idea. We're just kind of waiting on it, just like you are. I mean, so
it's frustrating for sure.
Yeah. Apologies for that. It's unacceptable, and we've we made a big upgrade on the server recently, and that's not the issue. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have it fixed sooner rather than later. And obviously unacceptable, especially right before NBA lock. But hopefully we'll be back and running here soon because the devs are on it.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on the NBA account. Any last thoughts you guys have on the slate? We kind of definitely need this Teague news. Hopefully we get something before lock and he's not a game time decision when coach speaks here soon. That would be nice. And then we'll get a couple of those 7 p.m.
How would you guys handicap the likelihood that he plays?
I don't know, man. They called up, they were called 2 guys from the G League earlier, and it's an illness. So it's always tough to say, like, is it a Jaylen Brown illness? Is it a, just whatever? Teague's not really a guy who would miss games just in general, like with something light. So it's tough. I would guess he plays, but I don't really have a lean on it too much.
I would say it's 45-55 that he plays.
It's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope we get
we just don't have much information. Like there are no reports today from shoot around.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything throughout the day really on Teague, so it's kind of a guess at this point. But I think there actually is a very legit chance that he misses. We'll see. So
yeah, I kind of hope he does.
I will at least start getting those like cat lineups ready. Start mixing like Culver, Robert Covington, Okogie. Like those guys should get nice bumps, all of them, with if Teague misses. So I'll prepare for that.
For sure. All right, let's go ahead and end it there. We're going to get prepped for this news. Last 40 minutes coming in, so definitely follow the Fantasy Steps NBA Twitter account. We'll get all that news out for you guys. Friday's an 11-game slate. I think we're going to take that one off for the show just to make sure news is on point, models are on point. We'll let you guys know when we're coming back next week. We'll have a couple shows, I'm sure. So until then, good luck with tonight's slate, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, guys.